We are working on a 2011 Kia Sorrento. This vehicle had a severely overheated engine. It was replaced with another. After the engine replacement, it came back with a whole host of other stuff related to this overheat, including these trouble codes. So this thing had a P0455 gross leak code and a P0451 fuel tank pressure sensor out of range. Now, I'll tell you ahead of time what was the matter with this. The purge valve is located over on this side of the cylinder head. So this is it here. And there's some plumbing that runs to it right here. And there's the high pressure fuel line running through there, and then the purge line that runs underneath it. Now, apparently the engine got hot enough that it melted, that purge line closed. So under normal circumstances, of course, that the purge line is connected to the purge valve. I had it hooked to my smoke machine at the moment, but so the purge line is connected there. And I would normally have a test port, right? But not every car has them. So when I want to EVAP leak check this system, I'm going to pull that hose off and connect it to my smoke machine like that. So I'm going to smoke towards the gas tank. So with that hose being pinched off right there, or melted closed, when we go do a leak check, the purge valve can't put vacuum in the tank. And if it can't put vacuum in it, it's going to set a gross leak code, that P0455 gross leak. So attempted to run an EVAP leak check, no vacuum developed in the tank, must have a gross leak. Also, same thing when it goes to check the fuel tank pressure sensor. It's not able to do it because it can't put vacuum back there. So a leak code and a fuel tank pressure sensor code, and neither of those are the case. Both of those, the component's good and there is no leak. So anyway, I am going to smoke check this to show you how to leak check a vacuum-based EVAP system. So this is the same kind of EVAP system you would find on a Ford or a GM. It's very common. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to activate the scan tool on this. Go to engine. So, engine systems. Functional test, right? Because I'm going to command something. This is going to be an engine off test. And then I want the canister shutoff valve. So this is the vent valve that's in the back of the vehicle. And I'm going to seal the system and perform a leak check. And I want to do the leak check with the smoke machine. So before I do that, I want to find my fuel tank pressure sensor because it's important that I watch that when I smoke it. That's how I know whether the system is sealed or not. So I've done this before. I know right where this is. So it's my fuel tank pressure sensor. So I'm going to graph that so we can watch. And so here's the deal. I'm going to turn the smoke machine on. So hit my start 5-minute test. I've got full flow. And notice my fuel tank pressure on the scan tool. It looks like it went a long ways, but only dropped, less than 1/10 of a volt. And so I know my fuel tank pressure sensor, well, it's looking good now anyway, because it sees just that tiny little bit of pressure I put in with the smoke machine. So now I'm going to seal the system. So I command the vent valve on. And as soon as I do, watch this system pressure now. So now it's moving, right? Got a 1/2 volt. And as that's happening, notice the smoke machine is dropping off. It was full flow. Now it's a leak of about 65 thousandths. Fuel tank pressure is going to bottom out here because it doesn't have to see this far into the range of pressure, right? And the smoke machine kind of taps out at around 1/4 to 1/2 psi, as it should. And now my leak is dropping, right? So 45 thousandths. And I want to see this drop. So here's where you have a difference of opinion. Some guys will smoke check to make sure it's under 20 thousandths, just to make sure it will pass an EVAP test, right? Because 20 thousandths is the leak number that we're looking for, that or less. You can smoke it all the way down to 0 if you want, and we'll see how this one goes. I'm pretty sure it gets under 5 thousandths, and that's plenty sealed to pass an EVAP leak check. So here we go. Notice my fuel tank pressure is kind of pegged out. Getting down to 20 thousandths. So now, I'm right at the area where this thing would pass, even if the leak was this big. But I continue to drop. By the time I'm down here 15 thousandths or less, I'm pretty assured that I'm not going to have any kind of leak that's going to cause a code. But let's keep going. Only takes a minute. Down to 10 thou. Kind of wobbling around there. So either way, I'm ready to call this good. Now, if you want to go find your 10 thousandths leak, if you in fact had one, you can go look around, grab a bright light, try to find the smoke where it's coming out of the system. But I smoked this one before and it got all the way down to 3 thousandths. So I might have a little leak in my hose where I have it connected. Either way, I don't care. I'm under 10 thou. This thing is good. So now I can stop my smoke machine. So no flow, and yet the pressure stays. And watch what happens when I turn the vent valve off. But the pressure stays in the system. Because remember, these are designed to hold vacuum and not pressure. So the pressure inside the fuel tank actually holds the vent valve closed and it won't let it open even though it's turned off. So if you want to vent the pressure, you're going to have to come over your line here and pop this thing loose. So I'm just making a little bit of a leak there. And when I pop that off, you watch my fuel tank pressure return to normal. So anyway, that's how you're going to check that. So we've checked from the purge valve all the way back. And you should also check to see that the purge valve is sealed. So give me 1 second to get that plumbed, and then we'll start the video again. So here's how you plumb the system in order to check the purge valve. So notice I've got a piece of vacuum hose on there, fuel line, whatever you want. Connect your smoke machine right straight to the purge valve, so move that harness. And so now I should be able to smoke this way through the purge valve and into the motor. Remember, if you're using nitrogen on your smoke machine, you're going to fill the intake with nitrogen, an inert gas, and you're going to have to crank it a little bit in order to clear that to make the engine run. So you may want to switch to shop air when you do this. So here we go. We're at my functional test menu. I turn my smoke machine on, and I have no flow because the purge valve is closed until I command it on. So I find my purge valve, canister purge valve, continue. There's no data to watch when you do this, so you don't have to worry about bringing up a graph or anything. So notice, no flow on the smoke machine. I'm going to command the purge valve on. You can hear the purge valve clicking. And I got around 30 thousandths, somewhere between 25 and 30 thousandths of flow. So things working like it's supposed to. Turn it off. Flow drops back down to 0. So I'm happy that my purge valve is healthy. So that's it. You smoke 2 sides of the system. And we've checked the vent valve, we checked the fuel tank pressure sensor, we checked the purge valve, and we checked our plumbing to make sure we have no leaks. And so you want to check a vacuum-based EVAP system? That's how it works, and that's that.